single batteries?
I don't know if there's two in here.
Probably. Two double A's or something. Very good.
So I do understand some of the issues. And I have seen
A demonstration of a real, honest-to-goodness spark transmitter and receiver, and it is, but it's not quite in the form that you might think it is. I actually have, and we'll do, I think, as another show and tell, I have a BC-15A transmitter and a BC-14A receiver. And those are World War I, 1917, 1918. The transmitter was used in aircraft. It was the first CW transmitter that was carried aboard an aircraft. And the receiver was used in the trenches, and it was for artillery spotting. This, however, is a somewhat different animal. And it's a very interesting mix of technology.
Awfully small for a spark transmitter.
This is a 1955 Radicon bus. The first, supposedly, the first radio-controlled toy built by the Modern Toy Company in Japan, a company that still exists and apparently had been in operation since the 1700s. What's interesting about this is the engineer, whoever designed this toy, was apparently quite familiar with very early radio technology. That is, the spark transmitter and the coherer. And that's what's inside here, is essentially a recreation of the Marconi coherer. There are two motors. One is the propulsion motor, and one steers. Of course, we know the coherer has to be decohered, it has to be tapped after every pulse, because the particles in the tube stay stuck.
In one state.
So, although I won't take this apart, I have pictures. Again, we can see what's inside of it. There's a little platform about an inch square. The coherer was clamped to that. It's held by four little springs, and there's a cam and lever, which as the bus operates, every time you pulse it, a little arm comes down, goes whack, and decoheres it, and makes it ready for the next transmission. So that's the first part.
So how reliable was it? I mean,
It works. Does CHRS have anything like this in the collection?
No way.
Okay. When I have another one, new in the box, with the graphics, is beautiful. I mean, typical 1950s Japanese toys. Amazing stuff. This is the user. This one isn't mint. Another little bit of interesting history. I bought this one, as I recall, off of eBay as not working parts or fix. The transmitter had a couple of bad solder joints. Got that working. The receiver portion, the coherer was cohered. and as soon as you turned it on, it ran and it ran and it ran, and there was no way to fix it. Well, surprise. A good friend of mine, and some of you folks may have heard about this, it's a fellow that lives in Stockton. His name is Dave Navoni. Dave is a retired engineer, PhD, radio enthusiast, inventor, machinist, jack of all trades. Decided one day that he was curious as to whether Marconi's coherer actually was as capable of doing what Marconi said it did. did the transatlantic test actually work? I mean, there's been lots of arguments
Cliff,
whether it
come
did-
on in, there's plenty of room
whether
here.
it did or not.
Come on inside, everybody.
Yeah,
So Dave decided that he would
let's just spread out for him.
reinvent the coherer. He did a lot of research. He and his associates went through determining the particle size, the electrode spacing, and he created a run manufactured of coherers. And they've been sold to some of the radio museums around the country, some experimenters, and I have one.
I have one of those too.
Yep, okay, that's where they came from. Well, mine has been put to good use. It lives inside here.
Cool.
So I have the original coherer that came out of the bus. And there it is.
Now, you said there were two in there, one for steering and one for...
No, two motors,
Two motors.
two motors,
Oh, and one, okay.
exactly. And
Left and right motor.
the remote control works much like some of the later real remote radio. Cheap, simple remote control toys where every time you pulse it, it's turn left, go straight, turn right, go straight, off, and repeat. So click, 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 click. So yes, it will turn the motor off, and the next pulse will turn it back on. It'll go this way, it'll go that way, and we'll demonstrate. But this is the dead coherer.
It's incoherent now.
It is incoherent. So if you want to, and the parts are the clips that held it. But if anybody wants to take a look at it, and there it is.
Perfect. Thank you.
Right.
You got a transmitter in that box too?
Sure do.
Oh, boy.
So that's part one.
Sparking relay?
Yes. Antenna.
Oh, boy.
And
You can see the particles in it. Very cool.
transmitter. So, antenna with insulation.
Love the antenna.
Now, and a little window so that you can see the spark gap. Again, thinking of the engineer or engineers in Japan who created this, they knew history. And they wanted to be able to do something with very limited technology. Obviously, vacuum tube equipment would be available, but totally impossible for a toy. So we basically have a Marconi coherer. We have basically a Ford spark coil.
FCC Part 15 type of proof.
No way, no way. So, and we have documentation. So in a moment, we'll take a look. But for
What's the
now,
approximate range of that thing?
they say 10 feet nominally. So if we want to,
I put it on the floor.
theoretically,
Yeah.
this will work.
Excellent. There's more space on the other side.
You can drive it around to the other side.
It's 60 years old. The motors, I think the lubrication is
You
probably.
need some Earl.
Yeah.
Maybe hold it up for a minute, let the wheels spin a little.
What's that, Zoe? It's a lie.
What sort of batteries does it run off of?
D cells.
Just all D cells? Uh-huh.
As long as there's a voltage, who cares how the old batteries are, right?
You're interfering with the TV here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, what's happening, it's definitely moving slowly.
Compound low, maybe.
Big hills.
Actually,
Yeah.
does anyone have a small screwdriver?
Yep. What kind of, what was
Pocket screwdriver?
Tweaker?
Yeah.
Green.
in this
Yeah.
place?
Green tweaker,
Yeah,
huh?
I just wanted
Where's everybody? Greeny.
a small adjustment.
My compliments a bit. This must have been a fairly deluxe. This is field special.
I would think it was. I would think it was.
I think they were trying to get somebody's attention.
There is the device.
Gotta get you to put the,
Fine tuning there.
Sounds like a sheep in distress.
I've been sitting in my living room for 10 years gathering dust.
Put that on the spectrum line. It had resonance,
Yep,
acoustic resonance.
yep. You can see how that would or wouldn't work.
That's really fascinating.
So how does it, where's the selectivity coming from to discern whether it's a left or a right motor command?
It's sequential.
Just sequential. Okay. Sequential logic then?
Yeah,
It's just logic then?
yeah. There you go. So what, is there a little cam inside or something?
Sure is.
Okay. It thumps it?
And in fact, if you listen, you'll hear the whack when it decoheres.
Oh, yeah.
Click, click,
Yeah.
there's the stop.
I'll be down.
Then it coheres.
Remarkable.
Fascinating.
Click, that's the whack when it's decohering.
I'll be down. Isn't that something?
Penny's worth of electronics could do this now, but it's amazing the ingenuity of it.
Back then. Well, that'd be Raspberry Pi 3 now.
There's the other problem.
Battery. You could-
Oh, the battery.
Battery holder is not very good.
So that was probably an expensive toy in its day.
How long does a battery typically last?
No idea.
Yeah, there you go.
That's really pretty amazing.
Yep, it's working.
It's working.
Well, I'm glad it doesn't go faster because you'd have a hell of a time steering it with that sequential control. Should be pretty fast.
Yep. Not bad for a 60-year-old toy.
You know how much it retailed for back then?
No, it would be interesting to find out.
I wonder if it was sold through any of the major catalog companies.
Was it a Toyota or a Honda?
it's a Toyota, obviously.
Come on, where's the LiDAR? Where's the
There. How to set it up, how to run it.
This is what, age 2 and up? What's the...
But there is the schematic.
Uh-huh.
And as I
Couldn't be
said,
simpler.
it's basically a Ford spark coil
Yeah.
and the two motors and the coherer, two batteries. One is the coherer relay control and the other is the drive motor.
Have any idea what the frequency is of the?
Anything you want.
Yeah, anything you want.
Anything and everything.
I have not,
When you were working it, I was tuning on the BC
Right.
band radio over there. I found right about the middle of the band, it went through a peak.
Well, we were also
Yeah.
affecting the TV.
Oh, really? I thought you were just pulling
I
it
have,
up.
No.
I do have a spectrum analyzer. And that
whole
is,
floor probably
that is a good question, that if I put it on wide sweep mode,
Yeah, it's gonna take its.
it'll be interesting. I
It's
don't
just
know.
probably right across the whole.
Well, it could be a little bit of natural resonance.
Not to insert fingers or metal pieces in the hole of the transmitter.
Kids want it when they go for the antenna.
Picture of this toy with the original coherer installed. And you can see the little platform, and there it is, and there's the
Hammer.
the hammer.
Yeah.
There's the whacker, and set on little springs. So there's the close-up of it. Here it is with the newly manufactured Marconi coherer installed. It's set on a piece of foam tape and silicone seal, and it works perfectly. This is the temporary antenna while I was testing.
Now, how does a coherer like that go bad?
I am assuming that because it was not sealed,
Moisture.
moisture.
Rust gets
And
maybe
these are
rusty.
metal filings.
Okay.
So I am assuming that's what happened.
They just corroded together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there again, there is this with the cover off. Drive motor for the rear wheels, and there's of course the drive motor and the cam. I think it shows it. Yes, right there is the cam that operates this decoherer.
How many do you think they made and sold of these?
Good question. I don't know. And here's a picture
The new phone.
of the one that Dave Navoni made, and there's some information on his product. 90% nickel.
All right,
Silver.
silver and nickel, something that's not gonna get.
That's correct.
Corroded or,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
And these are vacuum. These are sealed. Some interesting people in our neighborhood
Yeah.
do stuff like this.